episode was past tense. Nothing happened yet. Today's episode is in fact about a promotional plug for the rockets the three rockets that I've listed on eBay. Um, what can I say? The other night, of course, I had a hard time where I usually work in the parking lot of a well-known nationally recognized home improvement center in the neighborhood. Had a hard time with the weather, with the light, with the rain. I just had everything working against me the other night. That sound rocket that I was talking to you about on eBay, my username is WACA. It's a Wampler Advanced Consumer. Actually, now it's Wampler Advanced Commercial Aerospace. It's not consumer aerospace. It's WACA, Wampler Advanced Commercial Aerospace 2024. This right now. Oh, that sounds strange. Again, my name is Jason Wampler. I've revised the listings not to reflect new prices, but to reflect new pictures. That sound rocket that I was talking to you about, you stand a little closer so you can hear me. It has three different motor sections for it. It has the four motor section, the four engine section, the four motor section, which is the white and gray piece that I showed you. This guy right here, hold on, I know I'm going off camera. This guy right here, this is my pride and joy. The problem is, this tubing is not quite large enough to accommodate 29 millimeter, which is standard commercially available for recreational rocketry size motors. It's a little smaller than that. However, places like Industrial Metal Supply has the extruded seamless anodized, which is a form of painting aluminum paint. T6061 extruded seamless aluminum tubes. I believe 1/8 wall thickness. One of those tubes actually fits inside the inner diameter of this. So the downside is, if you get like a Dr. Rocket or Aerotech I-200 29 millimeter, the motors are about roughly 12-13 inches long. They're interesting motors. They have combinations for separation charge in the forward end, but they're long, thin motors. They're core burners. They have a circular hole in each one of the grain segments. I got my level 1 certification and with Diego Area Rocketry Team under the supervision of Andy Werner, who is a master sport rocketeer, experimental rocketeer. Guy's absolutely brilliant. He's got his own V1 rocket kit. He's a very, very smart man. I got my level 1 certification with him. Of course, I made an attempt at level 2 certification. I didn't fail the technical, I failed the written test. That was a long time ago, but I need to get my level 2 and level 3 certification through AAA, which is the rocket, the Model Rocket Association that Andy Werner is or was tied with. I haven't seen Andy Werner in nearly 20 years, 25 years. Honestly, I don't know. I've heard things that, like, he lost his wife to Joanne to cancer, stuff like that, but I don't know how he's doing. But anyway, I want to speak quickly because I want to leave a 10-minute TikTok video. I don't think I'm going to be able to do so. If I do leave a TikTok video for 10 minutes, it's going to be in the dark because the sun is setting very quickly. This motor, the good news is it will accommodate that T6061 aluminum tubes, the extruded seamless anodized aluminum tubes that you can get from Industrial Metal Supply. They have a steady supply of that stuff. They'll fit right in there. So I'm thinking if I feel like it, I may somehow, some way include a rebuildable motor system with this. So, and I'll use those extruded aluminum tubes. But then again, how am I going to supply you with the fuel grain pellets to put in there? So I'm at a kind of a crossroads for what I want to do with this particular boost section. And in short, the rocket itself is going to weigh about 30 pounds. This will still accommodate probably like a 2-foot, 24 millimeter motor on some hot rod fuel, like a modified black powder with magnesium, and those things are hot shot motors. 4 of them with a total impulse of about 600 to 700 Nm. With this booster base, the length, the diameter, the number of motors you can put in it. As far as our CHI ignition system is concerned, again, depending on how long it takes for me to sell this rocket with its 3 different options for boosters, I'm going to keep working on these 3 rockets until I get them finished. And the more finishing I do on them, the more work I do on them, the higher those initial bid prices on the eBay on my eBay account they're going to go. The prices are going to go higher the longer it takes to sell, because I'll be doing more work on them. They'll be more finished. And right now they're in a raw, almost experimental form, and you still have to do most of the calculations for center of pressure and center of gravity. Center of pressure is always forward. Center of gravity by a certain amount. There's a way to calculate that. There's a simple way to do it, but a 30-pound rocket that's 10 feet tall, you can't do a lasso test. This is a serious sounding rocket. This particular booster section will probably be for this rocket that I'm showing you will probably be for high power model rocketry or sport rocketry. The other 2 boosters I'm going to show you are serious business. They're for actual sounding rockets. In other words, meteorological research, geophysical surveillance and mapping, and terrain surveillance, either real-time photo reconnaissance. You can set up the electronics bay, which I'll explain to you. But when you get the rocket, you're going to get it in its raw form. It's going to have an electronics bay with instructions, but you set it up with the electronics you want. Require my services. You tell me what you want, and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost to do a launch for geophysical surveillance, real-time telemetry, either video or photo still, or you want to do meteorological research. I'd like to contract with NASA. I am a government contractor, but my license is expired. I have to pay another $600. I have to pay like another $599 to get my IMEI. Things have changed a little bit. They're not using Brad Dunstreet Brad anymore. I don't know why. But anyway, I do have some more work to do on this. This hole right here where it threads in, this MPT thread, this is gray PVC. All this boost underneath the 30-pound rocket at plus or transonic speeds, there's too much stress in this area, so I'm going to reinforce this area with a lightweight aluminum, heat-treated aluminum tube. But getting back to the motor situation, I may just go ahead and have to have these adapted for 24 millimeter motors. Going back to that, it's going to present a problem though, because elongated 24 millimeter motors, they don't exist. I mean, I could make them, but they would have to be custom made. So I have to figure out the motor system for this. I want to show you the other 2 booster bases, which will be a little bit easier to use in this rocket. So hold on a second while I go off camera. And we count down to the next one. And this, I'm just showcasing the rocket, and the whole thing is I just want to showcase this one rocket, and like I said, then tell you that I revised the pictures on all 3 of my listings on my eBay site, which is called WACA or WACA 2024. My name is Jason Wampler. So look up WACA, WACA, in all caps, 2024, and check out the listings for these 3 rockets on eBay. This is, I like the way this turned out. A gentleman in Brea sold me craft paper tube. I sectioned it and shaped it, put a taper on it. These will accommodate motors that are about that big in diameter. I would say a K, so they're standard motor size for sport rockets, which kind of carries over in the sounding rockets as well. I think there's 18 millimeter, which are really like the size of your finger, your small finger. There's 24 millimeter, which is the SDC motors. Those are the size of your finger as well. The 18 millimeter, the real small SD's motors. 24 millimeter, the medium 29 millimeter. That's a little bit more serious size. D15s, F27s. Estes makes a couple of 29 millimeter motors. They're very expensive. You get them 2 in a pack. They're about $30 for the pair. They come with 4 igniters, so 2 fail-safe and 2 regulars plus the plugs. But they're like $30. Estes, the 29 millimeter Estes motors, they're only single use, and they're between like 29 to $35 plus shipping on eBay, so they're fairly expensive. Aerotech is no cheaper. EconoJet, I kind of steer away from EconoJet. EconoJet, if you kind of get what you pay for. Aerotech wants to make cheap, rebuildable, or not single-use motors. I don't endorse that. The 29 millimeter Aerotech single-use, it needs to say Aerotech on it. They're bitchin' motors. They're ultra high quality. Aerotech does not compromise on their quality. I highly recommend them. They're worth every penny, and they make excellent kits too. In fact, the kit that I got certified on back in 2000 with Andy Werner down in Placer City, North San Diego and California on the West Coast of the United States, yada yada, was an Aerotech kit. I think it was an Aero beam, but I modified it. I modified the fins, and I used the Desert Fire Dr. Rocket Desert Fire, like 20-inch long, 29 millimeter I-200 motor for my level 1 certification, and it went off without a hitch. It was a bitch and launch. I really enjoyed that. Those are the good old days. My dad took a picture of me standing right next to Andy Werner when I hit the ignition button on that one. That was a lot of fun. That's just one of those memories. I was like 30 years old at the time. My dad was, oh God, my dad was 54. He's basically my age. Now my dad is 78 years old. He's always been 24 years older than me. Hi, Dad, if you're watching this. But boy, that was a fun afternoon. Successes and failures, but I got my level 1 certification, and I was a happy camper. Okay, so we're done with this booster section. This booster section will accommodate, oh, we're talking about the rocket motors. Okay, so we're not done. Okay, so we got the 29 millimeter motors. This guy, we can go up to 38 millimeter motors, but this guy, I believe, can accommodate 2 54 millimeter motors. Now, my understanding is, because I don't have a level 2 or 3 certification, and I've never had the funds to get into higher power rocketry, but I've got a couple things in the works that will give me money to, hopefully, the next 2 to 6 months. And these videos are going to get a lot more colorful when I do, I promise. This can accommodate the 54 millimeter range motor. 75 millimeter, I'm not entirely sure. It might be a tight fit. I have to get a micrometer, and I have to measure the inner diameter. I'm gonna keep talking about these 3 rockets every video, because every time, you know, we're gonna shoot a video once a week on Sunday, kind of breaking tradition, because it's I think today's Monday. Boy, am I freezing. The winds are blowing, the sun's going down. Just fighting an uphill battle here, and I'm just trying to do the right thing. I have to measure the inner diameter of this. I don't want to bore it because it's craft paper. It just, layers of paper don't machine the same way something that's been molded, you know, wet molded like plastic. So I think, I don't know, it doesn't look like 75 millimeters is going to fit in there, but a couple of 2-foot long 54 millimeters will get you to right around, I would say, 900 Nm impulse. In this rocket, maybe even 1,000. In this rocket, that's going to stand 10 feet tall, which I'll show you in a minute, it'll probably get it to about 10,000 feet, I think, or maybe a little bit less. But you know, at 5,000 feet, that's a mile up. I mean, you're squinting. You're looking for a rocket. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack. By the way, helpful tip: if the sky is white and light blue, don't launch a white rocket. Don't launch a high-powered white rocket in a white sky, because if that thing gets past 10,000 feet, you're going to lose it. The naked eye can't find something like that. Just a helpful tip. The other, so I could talk about the other standardized motors, but you know, for this one, the biggest one would probably be a couple of 54 millimeter motors, about 2 feet long. That puts you at between 800 to 1,000 Nm, I think. However, 54 millimeter is not that much. There's 18 millimeter, 24 millimeter, there's 29 millimeter, there's 38 millimeter, there's 54 millimeter. Then you jump on up to 75 millimeter motors, and then up to the really big, serious stuff, the M motors, which are 98 millimeters, and that's some pretty serious business. I'm telling you, folks. When you get your level 3 certification, you really kind of really are a rocket scientist. You probably should have a degree in engineering if you don't already have one by that point. But it takes a lot of smarts to get your level 3 certification. You get written up in sport rocketry. Every single person that gets their level 3 certification, and successfully. If you get your level 3 certification, it is successful. You get written up in sport rocketry. It is actually a pretty big deal. There's some interesting requirements for it. There's no written test, but you do have to build a rocket that has payload electronics, some type of telemetry, an electronically controlled recovery system plus a sighting system, maybe even a GPS, a black box, some type of early warning system, maybe even a fire control system. I don't know, NAR and Tripoli, maybe they've changed or upgraded the rules a little bit. But one thing I thought was interesting about the requirement for level 3 certification, what's really interesting, is the fact that you have to video and audio tape yourself, or somebody has to video and audio tape you actually building your level 3 rocket. You have to build your level 3 rocket from scratch. It can't be a kit. You have to be the person who actually builds something, either scratch build pattern from a rocket that already exists, like a successful rocket design, like a Mad Max, or a Nike Smoke, or an Honest John, or maybe an Aerobee, which is a Canadian sounding rocket. But you have to video and auto tape, or somebody has to video and auto tape you actually building the rocket. I don't know if it's every single second, but building a level 3 rocket is probably going to take you about 2 to 4 months. It might even take you even 6 to 9 months. I know people it's taken them years to build a level 3 rocket, so I don't know how in the hell you're going to present all that photo and video evidence over a period of 2 or 3 years if you're slow like me. But anyway, I plan on getting my level 3, but that's down the road. I'm going to have to get the resources for that. I'm in the process of getting resources to go. It's a long, slow haul, but I'm enjoying myself the whole way. So anyway, this is the double booster base. This is your second option, and this comes with the booster base, the part of the fuselage that goes with that white and gray 4-engine unit that I showed you. The other one I want to show you, the last booster base, is this guy right here. Now, folks, I want to show you the whole rocket, but I'm playing beat the clock with the sun here, so you guys aren't going to be able to see much of me if it gets any darker. But this is it right here. This is not 98 millimeter. I don't think it is. Again, I've got to get a micrometer to measure it. Everything I built, I wanted the 4-engine one to be 29 millimeter. It's probably like 27.5 or 28 millimeter, so it won't fit. I want the 2-engine one to be 75 millimeter, but it probably have to fit in a couple of. I'll probably have to. It's a busy airport. I'll probably have to fit a couple of 54s in it. So I got a bunch of 24s in the 4-engine one, which I want 29s. I got a couple of 54s where I want a couple of 75s and 2-engine boots, the one I just showed you. This guy is probably going to have to take a really, really, really long 75 millimeter, but that'll get us up to, again, that will definitely get us up to about roughly 900 nm. I want this to be an M motor base, but I'm looking at it. It's not 98 millimeter. When you get Newton, when you figure out the power of a rocket motor, you multiply burn time times pressure. In other words, the amount of time the rocket motor burns and maintains a certain amount of pressure, you multiply it to, you kind of come up with a number, I think Newton pounds or Newton meters, I'm not exactly sure, but it's called total impulse. Impulse is burn time times the rocket motor pressure. That's total impulse. So you multiply the two factors to get total impulse. So this will take a 75 millimeter on up to about this point right here. I've got bulkheads. I've got 8 different bulkheads supporting a gray PVC shaft with an MPT threading of 1 inch, and I had to accommodate that with female receptor on this end, and I've shown you this before. But again, it's the same issue with a 2-engine rocket. This is grade PVC. If I'm going to put something with nearly 5,000 pounds of thrust for 5 seconds in this, and all the pressure is going to be around here, around this gray plastic neck, I'm definitely going to reinforce it. I'm probably, on this rocket, I'm probably going to use stainless steel. Thin-walled, heat-treated stainless steel, something like spring steel, hospital or food-grade steel, hollow steel tube. And I'll pass the electronics down the middle of the hole, and I'll put some shelving in the aft recovery spool, maybe for an RCHEI ignition system, because on this guy, I think I am going to recommend an RCHEI ignition system. But again, I'm not sure how I'm going to include that. So like I said, as long as this takes to sell on eBay, this one rocket with its 3 different booster bases and the 2 shelves and the 2 lower bases, that the price is going to go higher, because I'm going to add more stuff to it. I'm going to keep working on this rocket until it's complete. In its completed form, it's going to be very expensive. Disregard what I said about the price the other day. I'm not entirely sure exactly how much. I am going to price it at. If it lists on eBay and it takes a year to sell, then it's going to be completed. It's going to be very, very, very expensive. It's not going to be just for anybody who wants to get into sport rocketry. It's going to be for professionals or professional organizations that have the bank account to buy something like this. It's going to be, this rocket will be in the tens of thousands of dollars. It will not be cheap. So, especially if it takes me a year to build, and I'm including the 3 different booster bases, the shelving, recovery system, basic electronics, motor systems, paint, finish, fins, guidance and launch system, etc., etc., etc. So like I said, the longer it takes to sell on eBay, the higher the price goes. You know what? It's getting really dark. I'm not entirely sure how I look. So we're going to call it at this. I wanted to show off some other stuff, but you know, frankly, folks, I'm kind of confused as to how to organize my days, because I can't shoot at night. The problem is I don't have the lighting equipment to shoot videos at night, so I need to do this during the daytime. And it seems like my videos actually, I watched them, but for the first time in my life, I watched one of my videos all the way through, and I was actually entertained by it. It was the one I shot yesterday when I was in my Sunday clothes. I had my formal pants and a nice dress shirt on, and I was talking enthusiastically. I was in the back of my 2-plex house where I live on 78th Street in downtown in South Central Los Angeles. And that daytime video seems to go off very well. It had draw, it had production value, and you can feel my enthusiasm. You can feel my enthusiasm now. The problem is, without the proper lighting and the fact that it's at night, if you can't see me, that takes away from the production, the entertainment value, then that kind of distracts the viewer. So I'm confused as to right now how to structure my workday. I think I need to be doing all my promotional and all my videos at the beginning of the day, and just kind of put everything else, including the construction efforts, off at night, because I have enough lighting to work at night, to work on this stuff, and then in the daytime, in the morning, just kind of show you what I've done and promote my listings on eBay. Tonight I have a goal. I've got some more raw materials that I'm going to cut up in section and catalog. I'm also going to build a fourth airframe. I'll list that on eBay tomorrow. But again, if I'm going to do any listing, take pictures, if I'm going to shoot any videos, either on, if I'm going to do a short for YouTube, do a regular video for YouTube, or do a 10-minute video for TikTok, 1, 2, 3, I've got to do these things during the daytime when there's daylight. And I look better in the daytime, and things work out better in the daytime anyway. But so as soon as I figure out how to structure my workday, then I'll go ahead and do it. Well, anyway, folks, I got the trots. Mother Nature calls. I've got to answer it. This has been another episode of the Rocket Minute with me, Jason Waffle, your host. I'm freezing and I got to pee. Talk to you later. Bye.